All right, so now we're at this place, right? And the king is going to call a meeting of the Estates General of Congress, of Parliament. I mean, he's going to ask to raise taxes. Now, the weird thing about this, and I always draw this on the board, I miss my classroom and my board, was that although each estate only had one vote, for some reason, I don't understand why, um, the first estate only had 300 delegates, 300 members who showed up at the state's general meeting. The second estate only had 300, but the third estate had 600. So, in the mind of the third estate, they're saying, look, let's not vote the traditional way where each estate only gets one vote. Let's let each delegate vote. You two combined have your 600. We have our 600, and maybe we can pull a few members of the first or second estate off and have them vote with us, and we can get some concessions, right? This sounds like democracy. We also know that in England at this point, they had a parliament who had power and who was not always being ordered around by the king. We know the Enlightenment ideas were suggesting that there be separation of power within the government, that not one group have all the power. This is them saying, give us a form of democracy, give us a voice in our government. And the king says no. So now we're going to see that the members of the Estates General, they meet and they say, look, we're gonna vote on we're gonna vote on a new constitution. Okay, we don't like the way this is set up, and we're gonna force a vote in the Estates General meeting. 2 days later, they show up ready to vote on drafting a new constitution, and the doors are locked to the meeting. And the king basically just said, forget this meeting. I'm going to do whatever I want. Well, now we're going to see that the third estate, they go to a tennis court, which is really a handball court, and they decide that we're meeting here now every day, and we are, in fact, going to write a new constitution. And there's nothing the king can do to stop us. When word gets back to Paris that the king had locked out the third estate and locked out its ideas, which, remember, in the cities are very popular now, a group of Parisians, the people of Paris, excuse me, they stormed the Bastille. Now here's a picture that I got off the internet. And this is the Bastille. It's an old medieval style castle building in the middle of Paris. But this is where they kept the weapons. It was an armory. It was also a jail. And as the Parisians break in, killing the guards, stealing all of the weapons in the armory, they also release all the prisoners. And now the guards and the soldiers loyal to the king, they flee. Okay, they leave Paris. And now what we have is that Paris is in control of the people, that the king has no control over the biggest city in his country. So while all of this is going on, outside of Paris, they start spreading rumors that the king is going to turn his army from Versailles. They're going to gather an army and they're going to start killing the people of Paris. Actually, not only is Paris going to be attacked, but all French cities that don't fall in line are going to, the French army is going to be used to kill them. And then these rumors start spreading and rebellions break out in many French cities during this point. In fear that the king was going to start attacking them, they take over their cities. And now the country of France is in panic, and a weak king is unable to keep it together. And we're going to find now that the Parisians, or not the Parisians, but instead the National Assembly, who's meeting in the tennis court, who is now decided, we're going to make up the Constitution. It's time for us to make new laws in our country. We're taking control of the situation. And they're going to draft, they're going to write a famous document, the Declaration of the Rights of Men and Citizens. And this document is going to be the basis of many, many governments in the future.